In this video, I'm going to be talking through the abstract reasoning section of the UCAT exam. If you don't already know about the UCAT exam, check out this video up here. It's going to explain everything you need to know and how to start preparing in general. But carry on watching this video for a detailed breakdown of this section of the UCAT. What is the abstract reasoning section and why is it even in the UCAT? The abstract reasoning of this exam tests your critical thinking and your pattern recognition. Now, these are really important skills as a doctor. Very often, you only are able to diagnose a condition because the patient in front of you has a particular pattern of symptoms and signs and test results. Similarly, you often have to be able to interpret a radiological image like an X-ray. For most people, that might look like a bunch of random shapes, but for a medical practitioner, you're able to look at that and interpret something clinically meaningful. These are obviously skills that you learn in medical school, but the UCAT is testing your kind of innate ability to do this. The AR section of the UCAT, for many people, is the worst section. Lots of people just hate it. It's also the section with the biggest time constraints. You've got 13 minutes to do 55 questions. You might be thinking, how is that even possible? Well, half of the questions are going to be split so that you're answering 4 questions on a single data set. So there are 4 possible question types that can come up in the AR section of the UCAT. First of all, we have the A and B sets. Here you'll be presented with 2 sets of shapes. Each one has 6 boxes filled with some random looking shapes, and the set A and the set B have got particular rules that decide whether a box can fit in that set. The question is going to give you a test box with some shapes inside, and you need to decide whether that test box belongs to set A, to set B, or neither. And the way you're going to do this is you need to recognize what the rules are for A and B, and then look if your test object matches that set. You're going to be presented with 4 test objects, and each one is a separate question. So one set of A and B gives you 4 questions. The second question type you might come across is very similar to that first one. Again, you're going to have a set A and a set B, each with 6 boxes, each with a particular rule for A and B. But instead of being given one test box and being asked to say whether it's in A and B or neither, you're going to be given 4 test boxes in a single question, and you have to decide which one of those belongs to a particular set. The third type of question you might come across is the series. So you're going to be given 4 boxes in a row. Each one has some kind of progression from the previous, and then you're going to be given an option of different boxes, and you have to decide which one is the next box in that series. The way to answer this is to work out what the rule is for the progression and find which box fulfills that rule. And then the last type of question you might come across is the statements. So you're going to be given 3 boxes on screen, and the first 2 boxes are paired together. There's some kind of progression from one box to the next. You're then given another box, which is not paired with anything, and you have to find the box which shows the same progression as the previous pair. So how are we supposed to even approach the questions in the abstract reasoning section? I'm going to give you the 3 rules that I use when approaching a question, which allow me to score 100% in my abstract reasoning section. My first 2 tips are going to be about the exam itself, and the last tip is about practicing. First of all, it's a really good idea to come up with some kind of system or some kind of mnemonic and a way that you're going to approach the different possible rules that might be present in the boxes. So I like to use the mnemonic SCANNER, and that's scanner with 4 S's. So scanner with 4 S's stands for shape, symmetry, size and sides, color, angle, number, enclosed, and rotations. Now, those 9 things don't actually cover all of the possible variations, but I think they're the most common rules that might come up. It gives you something to hold in your head as you scan over the options, so you can tick those off one at a time. My next tip is specifically for the type of questions where you have a set A and a set B. These often will have more complicated rules than the other 2 question types because you've got 4 questions following one rule set, so you're expected to take more time to have to work out the rule. Now, there's a very good trick that you can do here, and that is look at each set and choose the simplest box. The simplest box is normally the box with the fewest number of shapes, and that gives you a great opportunity to rule out loads of the rules without having lots of distracting things going on. The abstract reasoning section is so time constrained that it's often a good idea to either flag a question, or if you have a gut feeling about something, give it a guess. It's true that for the whole UCAT exam, practicing more will almost always give you a better grade. But for the abstract reasoning section, I think this is probably the most true. If in your preparation you have a look at a few thousand practice questions, for example, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to come across some iteration of pretty much every possible rule. Once you've experienced every possible rule, it makes it much, much more easy to recognize it if you see it. It's pretty much impossible to recognize something you've never seen before. So do yourself a favor, do as many practice questions as you possibly can, and focus on understanding what the rule is and how to recognize it. This is going to give you a massive advantage in your exam. For everyone who's sitting their UCAT exam this summer, a massive good luck. I hope you found this video useful. Check out any of the other videos on screen right now to learn more about the different subsections of the UCAT.